Hi and welcome to Aussie Kicks. On today's show, well, we're fettling and moving the project forward on the FP1 from Mardave and the Schumacher Racing Icon. Where have we got to? Well, the tyres and wheels have arrived, so they're on. Also, the Savox server is now in and the second battery has arrived. I picked up a shorty pack exactly like the one I had before, which was a 2S for 200 milliamps. The electronic speed controller and the brushless motor have arrived. I also changed over the pinions and the spur gear on the Schumacher to match them up. So I've got them basically as close as possible. I also trued up the steering to be identical with the same toe in as well. I think the diffs are set as close as I can get them by feel. So to try and make them drive as close as possible. Right, I've even got the same transmitters and receivers, pretty much as close as I can get them. Then I weighed them, and believe it or not, they came out 1 gram difference between the two. So they are super close. So we're going to do a bit of a shakedown. I haven't painted the bodies yet, that's the next thing to do, but I wanted to do a bit of a shakedown run on them, get them out, see how they are, see how they perform. So we're going to cut to, the first one we're going to cut to is the Mardave. So let's go out, do a bit of driving, come back, and then I'll give you my thoughts. So that was the Mardave. Few things, I need to up the braking for sure. There's no brake, it just runs on, so that was a little bit worrying. And also I'm getting a bit of cogging low down as I start, so maybe I'll change the pinion, go slightly smaller, see if that helps. A little bit of understeer. The tyres were brand new, grip's not brilliant. It was also very cold, so I had oversteer and understeer. So it needs some work. I'll probably go and adjust the aero. The front's at its maximum, but the rear is actually sitting at its pretty much its minimum. So I'll probably up the angle of attack to try and put a bit more weight on the rears. Hopefully the tyres will start to wear in a little bit better. Apart from that, super smooth, super quiet, and there's no resistance. The car just rolls on for ages, so I'm really impressed with it. The steering angle, I might see if I can get a little bit more of a steering angle out of it, because I don't know whether it was just understeering or what. So that needs a little bit of tweaking. So I'll make a few changes and then I'll head out again, see if I can start dialing them in. But I wanted to just get a benchmark in. So that was the Mardave. Happy with it? Completely. Especially the smoothness. If I can get rid of that cogging at the beginning, and if I can get a little bit more bite out the front tyres, lovely to drive. Not easy. There's quite a bit of power in this, so it's quite easy to overcook it. So I might mess around with the acceleration, see if I can smooth it out a little bit more. These transmitters have loads of options to try and smooth out the curves. So I think it's going to take a lot of trial and error to dial it in. But obviously, depending on what you're running on, I'm running on tarmac, so grip is low. Right, let's move over to the Schumacher one. Now, it'll be really interesting to see whether we get exactly the same kind of feel or whether it's completely different, even though it's running the same electronics all the way through and the same toe in. But the front track is shorter on the Schumacher than it is on the Mardave than it is on the Schumacher, so I'm expecting it to handle slightly different, being it's much wider at the front. Right, let's take it out, give it a blast, and see what we think. Well, that was a bit of a surprise, if I'm honest. It's almost the same, exactly the same. The cogging down low again, but then they're running the same pinion, so I can kind of understand. Yes, the electronic speed controller is running in the exact same mode, so I need to change the braking. Understeers exactly the same, and oversteers, so almost identical between the two. Again, very, very smooth, very easy to run on. From that point of view, traction was a problem, front and rear. Understeer was the same. So I'm surprised, being that it's got a wider track, we still had the same understeer, and I had to really feather the throttle from that point of view. So I think from a baseline, they are so close. Now I'm hoping over the next couple of weeks, if I get to play around with them, we can start to dial them in a little bit more and hope we can see some improvements. But at the moment, it's all to play for. If I had to choose one right now, I couldn't. They are too close to make a decision. They both drive so close. So there you go. What do you think? I'm loving them. And I really feel the need to go and get some tyre warmers. On that bombshell, see you soon. Bye-bye.